The hand-waving panopticon, uncovering the sinister truth behind motion-activated paper towel dispensers. Picture this. You've just finished washing your hands in a public bathroom, droplets cascading from your fingertips, tips like tiny liquid paratroopers abandoning ship. You approach your paper towel dispenser, that innocuous-looking box mounted on the wall, and begin the familiar ritual of desperately waving at an inanimate object with all the dignity of someone trying to flag down a taxi during a monsoon. The dispenser, in its infinite mechanical wisdom, completely ignores you. This is not a malfunction. This is surveillance capitalism's most diabolical achievement. Let's go over the origin story, from humble beginnings to nefarious ends. What began in 1974 as mechanical engineer Bernard Kleenex's genuine attempt to improve public hygiene has morphed into the most comprehensive covert biometric data collection system in human history. Kleenex, no relation to the tissue company, though his parents did have an unusual sense of humor, initially designed these devices to reduce paper waste. Little did he know that his invention would later be co-opted by a shadowy consortium of AI researchers, behavioral psychologists, and that one guy who always seems to be hanging around the vending machine when you're trying to decide between Cheetos and a granola bar. The first prototype, affectionately named Wavy, was installed in a small diner outside Albuquerque. It responded to hand motions with the enthusiasm of a golden retriever greeting its owner. Modern dispensers, by contrast, respond with the enthusiasm of a cat that's just been informed its tax returns are being audited. The mechanics of deception, how your frustration fuels the future. Behind that unassuming plastic facade lies a technological marvel that would make James Bond's Q branch weep with envy. Each dispenser contains no fewer than 7 specialized cameras, 3 infrared sensors, a quantum computing processor, and a tiny hamster running on a wheel. That last part is purely decorative. Now, when your hands enter the zone of analysis, or roughly the area where you'd expect a functional device to actually work, the system activates not to dispense paper, but to collect up to 487 distinct data points about your hand movements. The algorithm is specifically calibrated to withhold paper for the exact amount of time needed to progress through the 5 stages of public restroom grief, confusion, vigorous waving, silent resignation, loud sighing, and finally the defeated pants-wiping maneuver. The cataloging initiative. Your frustration has been duly noted. See, deep within an underground facility in Redacted, a database houses what is affectionately known as the Encyclopedia of Human Exasperation. Here, every frantic handwave is categorized according to a proprietary taxonomy that includes such classifications as the helicopter, rapid circular motions, the Jedi, slow, deliberate movements accompanied by intense concentration, and the windshield wiper, side-to-side motions with increasing velocity and decreasing hope. Scientists have identified 143 distinct hand-waving patterns, each correlating with specific personality traits. Those who eventually give up and use their pants as towels are flagged as pragmatic adapters, while those who stubbornly continue waving until the heat death of the universe are labeled optimistic persisters with poor time management skills. The people behind the curtain. Let's meet the architects of annoyance. The current operation is headed by Dr. Millicent Drypalms, a woman who has dedicated her life to the study of human behavior under mild bathroom-related duress. Her controversial doctoral thesis, Patience Thresholds in Semi-Private Settings, a Study in Controlled Inconvenience, earned her both academic acclaim and a restraining order from several shopping mall management companies. Her right-hand man, pun absolutely intended, is former Vegas magician Houdini Quick Fingers McGee, whose expertise in hand movements and misdirection proved invaluable in calibrating the sensors to recognize but strategically ignore human gestures. McGee is known for his catchphrase, "The most impressive disappearing act isn't the paper towel, it's your dignity." Corporate partnerships following the paper trail. See, while government funding provided the initial capital for this massive undertaking, several major corporations have invested heavily in the research. Leading the pack is Patience Limited, a behavioral analytics firm whose slogan, "Your frustration, our fascination," adorns their corporate headquarters in a font so small it causes its own separate frustration. Fast food giants have also taken interest, correlating hand-waving patterns with menu preferences. Research suggests that people who perform the helicopter wave are 72% more likely to order extra pickles, while windshield wipers demonstrate an inexplicable aversion to condiments in squeeze packets. The global implementation strategy: no dry hands left behind. The operation began with airports, locations where people are already primed for disappointment and procedural indignity, before expanding to shopping malls, restaurants, and government buildings. The most recent phase includes installation in elementary schools, ensuring that future generations will accept the dance of supplication before technology as completely normal. The initiative spans 137 countries, with only Vatican City and a small principality in Luxembourg as holdouts. The latter still employs a system where bathroom attendants dramatically tear paper towels from rolls while maintaining uncomfortably intense eye contact, a practice considered too emotionally complicated even for this consortium's purposes. The future applications beyond bathroom boundaries. The true endgame of this massive data collection effort goes far beyond understanding how humans react to minor bathroom inconveniences. The complete behavioral profiles developed from hand-waving patterns are being used to develop the next generation of AI emotional intelligence. Future applications include traffic lights that can sense your rush and adjust accordingly, always to your disadvantage. Elevator buttons that require the exact emotional frequency of mild hurry but not desperate enough to take the stairs. And customer service chatbots programmed to understand exactly how close you are to keyboard smashing rage. The resistance movement, fighting back one paper towel at a time. A small but growing underground movement known as the Dry Palms Society has begun fighting back against this surveillance system. Their tactics include carrying personal hand towels, considered extremist, performing elaborately incorrect hand movements to contaminate the database, and the radical approach of simply using the air dryer instead, though this plays directly into the hands of the competing Dyson Airblade surveillance program. Their manifesto, "Our Hands, Our Choice," argues that humans have an inalienable right to dry their hands without participating in involuntary behavioral studies. Critics call them conspiracy theorists with suspiciously dry hands. The psychological impact, how we're being conditioned. Perhaps the most disturbing aspect of this conspiracy is how it has normalized increasingly absurd human technology interactions. Studies show that after sufficient exposure to motion sensing paper towel dispensers, subjects become 43% more likely to wave at other inanimate objects, including vending machines, ATMs, and particularly unresponsive pets. Behavioral psychologist Dr. Moist Palmer notes, we're creating a society where people automatically assume technology is watching them, but deliberately ignoring their needs. This is perfect preparation for our inevitable future, where we will all be pleading with our refrigerators to recognize us as sentient beings worthy of access to our own leftovers. The philosophical implications, what this all means for humanity. In the grand scheme of human evolution, the paper towel dispenser conspiracy represents our unique modern condition, trapped between technological promise and deliberate frustration, forever waving our damp hands at the universe, hoping for a response, while knowing deep down that the machine could help us, but simply chooses not to. As you stand there in the public restroom, water dripping down your forearms while you perform increasingly desperate gestures before an unfeeling plastic box, take comfort in knowing that your frustration is contributing to something larger than yourself, something mysterious, something powerful, something that will definitely not result in a future where robots use your own hand-waving patterns against you. Or just use your pants. The choice, like your hands after using the sink, is yours.